Hello and welcome to Vessel and Voice Podcast. I'm your host, Kim Charlson. And in today's episode, Monty is sharing with us some new channeled wisdom, all about how we can use desire to propel our life purpose forward. Before we get into today's episode, I wanted to read a review that we got back in March. I wanted to send some appreciation to people who are leaving us reviews and to encourage you to also leave a review of your own if you've been enjoying this podcast. So this review comes from I'm Hannah MK, and Hannah writes, if you are looking to connect more with your spirituality, but you don't want to wade through all the manufactured fluff and shame from online gurus, this is the podcast for you. Kim has the most soothing voice that feels like an old friend is chatting with you from a cozy chair in the back corner of your favorite local coffee shop. I got literal chills when Monty introduced themselves. So excited to see where the show will take us, and grateful for guides that truly believe in helping you find connection with the journey you are meant to take. Thank you so much, Hannah, for your review. It means so much, especially knowing that it kind of gives you this sense of we're having this cozy conversation in the back of a coffee shop. And the funny part is Monty very often will say when we do one-on-one sessions, I want you to think about this as I'm a friend and we're sitting and having coffee together. So I am so happy that that's the really energy that you're getting from these episodes, because that's definitely a part of our intention. And as well, we want you to take ownership of your own journey, that there's not really any shame to be had. We all have a lot of conditioning. We're all the products of the collective that we live in. And so we're all working through it together. That even if one of the things I've realized in my own spiritual journey, and this is really in thanks to Monty, even if you feel shame about something that you're going through in your spiritual journey, that you don't really understand why you do it, and you look at the exterior and you say, oh, I'm not being the best version of myself that I could be. Look at all these different things. I should feel ashamed for that. Everybody else is also that thing. Don't forget that, because for you to contain that means everybody else contains that at the same time. It may not be as highlighted in their presence. It may not be an issue or energy that they're dealing with, but collectively, because we were all everything all at once with each other, we also contain those same issues. Maybe we didn't go through it in this lifetime, but we probably have in a past one. If this podcast has really been resonating with you, we would love to hear your feedback and a review. You can leave it on iTunes, in the comments on YouTube, or in the comments on Spotify. We appreciate all the feedback that we get. The other thing that I wanted to do today before we got into the episode is invite you to a special event that Monty and I will be hosting on September 9th. If you have been kind of curious about connecting with your own guides, you're not really sure how to do it, you've tried, it's been really frustrating, or you get angel numbers all the time, but you have no idea what they mean, this is definitely an event you want to sign up for. And what we'll be doing is going through a guided experience together. And I'll be checking on everybody's energy to see how they're doing, so that way they can connect with their spirit guides. So it's not just a guided meditation, but really an experience for you to have. And we'll also talk about the common misconceptions about spirit guides, answer questions about how we can start working with them. So that way you can start moving forward in your spirit guide consultative relationship approach. So it is September 9th, and it will be starting at 7 p.m. and will run about 90 minutes Central U.S. time. And the cost is $15 if you'd like to join us. There will be a link down in the show notes to sign up, and we hope that we see you there. So now let's get into this week's topic and message and channel guidance from Monty, because this really changes a little bit of the perspective that we often have. So a lot of the work that we say, and what Monty has been laying the foundation of over the last few episodes of working with the universe and coming to a state of surrender, has a lot of questions with, okay, but then how do I work through the things that I want in life, the desires that I have? And yeah, we know some of those are conditioned of we believe we want certain things, but when we look at the energy, it's actually because we feel a lack of that energy in our lives, and that manifestation is less important. That Monty's talked about that. But what about when we have this deep desire for something that we want to do or create something in our lives? Does that mean that we don't act on it and we just wait for the universe to show up and make that happen? Do we have to sit in meditation and be that energy all the time, hoping then that the events will happen that create that. So, this has been a question that I have contemplated a lot in my own journey with surrender, and I'm really excited to share Monty's channeled wisdom. So, let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to this episode where we are beginning a slightly new theme. As you have been probably acknowledging that we have been discussing for some time how it is that you can work more passively in many ways to surrender to the universe, to allow yourself to come into that ease that you are desiring. However, how can you begin to work with the desires that you feel within, the things that you crave and want in your life, while still having that passive means of surrendering to the universe, to realize what it is that you feel that you are here to do, to allow yourself to come into the culmination of your nature, of your essence of who you are in this lifetime. This is the new theme that we will be discussing through some future episodes, and we are delighted to bring this knowledge to you and to allow you to open up to the wisdom that is also contained within yourself. So first, let us define what a desire that you hold is before we begin to talk about how you can work with your desires and follow them to realize your passions and your purpose in this particular lifetime. A desire in its essence is an energy within yourself that is seeking an externalization. It is not that you want to realize it in a specific format necessarily, or that you are desiring that energy to come to you, but rather that this energy that is contained within your soul wants to be expressed and present in the physical world. And that energy, while you may see and perceive that it has a certain format that you would like it to come into, many times when you tap into that energetic desire within yourself, you'll find that it is quite open to many different formats and it quite routinely wishes to experience more than one format in your life. This is often why you feel as though you are realizing your life purpose, and yet as you get older, that morphs and changes, and it is because that desire wishes to be embodied in different ways as you go through your journey in this lifetime. So now that we have defined what a desire truly is that energy that wishes to come into physical manifestation from your soul. That is what you feel, that pressure you feel when you say, I truly, truly want something. This thing that I desire, that I want to have in my life, is really that energy within yourself that wants to become manifest. And it is your task as part of the reason why you are here is to allow that energy to become embodied. Now, as we have been discussing, all energy that you bring into the world begins first from within. And as we have previously shared, the more that you crave something externally, the more that you need to bring it up internally. And this rule, this way of working still applies of that when you have that desire deeply within yourself, the best way to bring it manifest into the world is to allow yourself to feel that energy within yourself. So this is the process of identifying, I have this desire of something external in the world, and I understand that this is truly the energy behind it. Now, what you must uncover first before you realize whether it is your soul's desire or a conditioned desire is where that energetic desire is coming from, where that energy stems from. It is something that can be either something inside of you that you wish to bring into the world that is truly a soul desire versus more of an attuned or conditioned desire that you believe that you are lacking something and so therefore you desire it. For example, many individuals believe that they desire money, that is the thing that they wish to create in their lives. But more often than not, that money and that energy that they are wishing to bring into their life is actually filling a lack within themselves, something that they feel they do not have. And When you identify what that desire truly is for, you may find that that energy is not yet present within yourself. You cannot cultivate that energy within yourself quite as easily. And that requires, at that point, energetic unblocking, because that energy does exist within you. Your soul, as we have said before, contains every single energy that you could ever need or desire. But when it comes to the true soul desires, the desires that your soul has, your soul does not crave money in the same way that you will, but rather it desires to express itself in creation, to express itself by doing something after being that thing. So first, you must embody that energy of your desire in your own way. That energy in its essence becomes your state of being. And then from there, you will feel the pull of that energy towards similar energies. So rather than, as we have been much discussing, of you become the energy and then things are pulled towards you, and that you feel as though you are unmoving in your efforts, this is slightly different. That when you have a soul desire and you begin to embody that energy, you will feel that you are being pulled down a path of action, down a path of events, down a path towards the creation and manifestation of this internalized energy that you are creating yourself. This is the difference between manifesting from a position of, I do not yet have, I need to become, now I am attracting those things to me, that are those externalized energies, and really realizing that soul desire, that passion that you carry within yourself. So let us take an example of how this can look differently. Say, for example, that you desire deeply within yourself to be an artist. You know that this is something that you feel as though you have come here to do. There is very little conditioning within society that says, ah, yes, you should be an artist, and this is why we have selected this, because most of society says being an artist is something that is undesirable. There is less conditioning around this desire for this example. So you have within you this desire of, I need to become an artist. And so what that truly is that you wish to express your soul energies through your artistic creations. Now, if you do not have this desire to become an artist, you can apply this to anything else that you wish, that you feel as though you must do in your life, because there is this pressure inside to become and to create. Just in the same way that an artist expresses themselves through their art and their energy and their perception of the world, you can do the same in every single thing else that you do. This is not just strictly reserved to artists, but in our example, this artist allows the energy of what they feel as their beingness to become embodied, that they start to become the artist that they envision. Now, the artist that they envision may be in the acts of creation, but it is important to understand that those acts of creation begin first inside with that energy of the soul, and then those need to be manifested. Those energies have that drive in within themselves of your soul to be manifest. And then this results in you feeling pulled towards different actions, such as you go to the art store and you go in desiring to find some new mediums to work with, and you are drawn to some pastels, for example. You have never worked with pastels before, but you feel a desire, a pressing desire to work with the pastels. That there is inside of you a surrender of, I do not know yet what I will create, but I can feel this energy erupting within me of this desire to create with these pastels. Now, from an energetic standpoint, these pastels that are present at the store are a different energy than you. You are desiring to collaborate with the energies of these different mediums to create. Just in the same way that we have been discussing that when energies come, you can collaborate with them. But instead of asking the pastels in this way, what is it that you desire to become? They are working with you for you to express those soul energies, that they are collaborating with you in that way. And so you take these pastels and you begin to create. And when you get into that flow of allowing your soul energies to come through, there is very little logic to that process of creation. There is very little perfectionism to that process of creation. Yes, there is an improvement in how I can get better and how I can express what it is I want to express in a more, how shall we put it, perceived manner, to be perceived by other individuals or to be perceived by the artist. But it is not a perfectionism of, I have done incorrect. I need to improve who I am, but rather is in moving towards a more apt expression of those energies that you feel within. That desire that is pressing you forward towards that expression. And as you can see, as this artist version of yourself could perfect that way of expressing, come more into that vessel of alignment with those energies to be the more full expression of that artist's self, you can see how that would create a body of work that is an expression of the soul, or an expression of the soul's perception of the external or internal world. This body of work then could be brought into the world, consumed by others, enjoyed and appreciated by others, responding to their desires in their own way. Now, as in this example, you may have a difficult time, though, applying it to yourself if you say, well, I'm certainly not an artist. That is not something I wish to do. But yet, within yourself, there is a similar desire, a similar drive. And it does not always make logical sense because it is something that is not conditioned. It is something that comes up from inside of you that must be expressed because, again, that is what truly desire is. It is the pressure to express your inner energy. So when you are feeling a desire, you can ask yourself, is this truly a desire because it is an expression of my inner energy that I wish to bring into the world? And if the answer is yes, then follow that desire. And that desire will lead you down a path that you could never predict because you do not yet know how to fully express who you are. That is the experience of being in physical form, that you are here to learn how to express yourself, how to create that desire and manifest in creation. Now, as you follow that desire, you will find events like the oil pastels, where there is an occasion for an energy to be attractive to you feel pulled by your desire towards something that you don't quite understand. There are always events like this in your life. And ask yourself in this moment, if this is truly an expression of my energy and this desire, is this going to help me express that desire, that energy within myself? If the answer is yes, then follow it with your heart, with your dedication, with your energy, your time, your persistence, and it will come to fruition. That is what you need to trust, because in following that desire, your energy is becoming more expressed. And as your energy is more expressed, then comes the pulling of others to you, of the resources you need to you. It is that give and take of allowing yourself to feel pulled towards your future that you are creating through your choices, while also simultaneously attracting what it is to you that you need, what it is that matches those desires. And this is how these two sides of your energy, of the attraction and also the driving forward of your energy, work together. The culmination of all of these teachings that we have been giving for quite some time now. So as you are learning to trust these desires, Asking that question of if it is an expression of your energy rather than an expression of conditioning will help you know what is truly your desires and what will truly allow you to follow forward in your path. Now, what we would like you to do after listening to this episode this week is allow yourself to notice when you feel that pull, that desire that you have, not for something coming to you, but rather for you moving outward, that expression of your energy moving forward. Trust in that expression of your energy and trust that it will result in everything that you need, want, and desire. We send you great love in this endeavor. That is all. I have so much appreciation for this message from Monty because it really shows that there are actually two sides to the energy equation. And this is so often a theme that we see in energy work is that there's the light and the shadow. There's the push and the pull. There's all of these different sides of things that we often forget about. So a lot of manifestation work is we sit in our manifestation, we visualize it, and then we take aligned action when it comes up and we hope it happens. It's a lot of hoping. And that's a lot of surrender. It's a lot of it. There's a lot that's out of our control. But on the other side of that coin is that inspired action, that taking steps towards what it is that we desire. And I love that Monty has really illustrated this as our energy being the driving force, that rather than we're attracting things to us in a very passive way, that this is about us allowing our energy to push us forward, rather than forcing ourselves to hustle and strive towards that perfectionism, like he talked about, of I have to do these things because this is the way they're supposed to be done. This is what everybody says the technique is, or the strategy, or the skills that I need to have to be successful at this thing. But rather saying, okay, there's this pulling energy. I just feel pulled to this thing. This thing feels like I just have to do this. And that is an energy that comes from inside. It's not necessarily that a thing is attracting us, but rather our energy is saying, ooh, I want to go there. I want to do this. I want to manifest my expression in this way. So it is also that point of understanding that our choices are really important in how we're allowing those desires to drive us forward, of letting go of the fear that we might feel, especially when we feel that deep pull inside of that desire that we really want to do this thing, and letting go of the conditioning of, well, no, maybe you shouldn't, or that's not right for you, or you're not capable of that, or all the different voices that you could have inside, but instead really tuning into that desire and listening to it. And I can say that this is something that really happened a lot for me in my own channeling journey to get where I am now. It was a lot of feeling like I just had to do this. It's this unexplainable thing that unless you've experienced it, you're kind of like, oh, I don't really get that. But yeah, there were events that I've talked about of how I got to my channeling experience and how I spontaneously channeled for the first time. But there was also just this deep drive within myself of, I have to do this. I don't know why. It doesn't really make sense. And everything around me of the logical mind is saying, this isn't real. Have you lost your mind? Have you gone crazy? But instead of listening to all of those voices that I could have, they're very internal, I wasn't experiencing it in an external way. It was really my own inner voices, those different parts of myself that are those conditioned doubts that were coming up and saying, okay, but really, are you really going to go down this path? But instead, I listened to that desire, that unexplainable essence of who I am that needed to be expressed in this way. And it's kind of funny that what it gets me to is this act of deep surrender. But it's a process of also the desire and moving forward towards the other version of getting better, the version of improving that Monty talked about of, I am constantly working on being a better vessel. I'm constantly working on my channeling skills. And the more that I do that, the more that I'm manifesting that desire, the more that I am bringing that essence of who I am into the world in this really beautiful way. So I hope that example also helps you. Of Monty shared an artist example, and now I've shared a more spiritual example, but there's lots of ways that you can apply this to your life, in that I feel pulled to this thing. I feel driven to do this. Allow yourself to start listening to that. And if you would like some support on that journey, don't forget that we have the Soul Brave free mini channeled course to help you go through that process of following the desires of your soul and being a little bit more brave, which we'll leave the link for that in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. We are so delighted that you're here. We're so appreciative of all the ways that you send us messages and love, and the energy that you're sending us every single time that you watch this or listen to this podcast. And we're so thankful for you. So we will see you in the next episode.